This is J-Man with MusicMarauders.com here with Jaik Willis. How's it going tonight, Jake? Doing alright?
Yeah, doing alright.
Good to see you. Colorado, yeah, it's fucking cold here.
Yeah, it's freezing. They heated it really well last week. It was 5 degrees or something like that. Yeah, in the place.
Great, so Coyotes doesn't have heat.
No, and the pipe burst, and then that made the water drain out, so the boiler exploded.
Oh, delightful. Awesome. Yeah, that's why it's chilly in here. Alright, cool. Anyways, what has been your biggest accomplishment as a musician?
Probably be able to do it this long, but I'm still at it. Like,
the longevity?
Yeah, I've been making a living now for about 12 years, and like most of the people that I came up with, like we all started out with, like high school bandmates and stuff like that. None of them were able to keep playing like the song.
Everybody had to get a day job.
Yeah. And just none of them were gigging as heavily and whatever.
I see.
So, I'm glad to be doing that,
Awesome, yeah, for sure, man. Can you talk to me a little bit about your musical background? Kind of how you came up and where you went to school, etc.
Yeah, totally. I was like, my mom's deaf, so we never had music around the house. She had just enough hearing that if you had music playing in the house, it'd drive her crazy. So I couldn't have, didn't really have any music coming up at all. And then I got a radio when I was like 6th grade or something like that, and just got totally obsessed with it. And Guns N' Roses came out at some point, and just got really, that was so cool, like the electric guitar stuff was so cool. Got really into that. So me and I had 3 buddies, and I decided I'm playing guitar. We got the Guns N' Roses cassette tape.
So tell me that Guns N' Roses is one of your influences.
It is, absolutely.
Awesome. That's
absolutely.
so awesome.
So it's huge.
I mean, you're a solo acoustic guitar player.
But that's where it kicked me out.
That's funny though.
So yeah, Appetite for Destruction looked at it and we're like, alright, we need guitar, we need drums. It says we need a bass, but what's a bass? I don't know. So I don't know. I'm not playing bass because I don't know what that is,
Right.
So the shortest kid ended up on bass because we battled it out and he got stuck with it. I decided on guitar anyway. And I moved to Hollywood when I was 16. By the time I was 15, I was practicing 16 hours a day, when I wasn't in school. Just sitting all day long. If I was in class in high school, I was tapping stuff out on the desk and just super OCD. So when I was 16, I moved out to Hollywood on my own. Moved out to Sunset Boulevard and went to Guitar Institute.
Why?
Guitar Institute out there is a school, Musicians Institute, and Hollywood was raging still. This is before Nirvana came out and any of that stuff had happened. So Hollywood was still totally raging. So I moved out to Sunset Boulevard and that out there was the youngest Musicians Institute. Had a really wild time, and actually the guitar I'm playing tonight is a 1957 Les Paul that I got while I was out there when I was 16.
Awesome.
And then came back from that, just hopped around through colleges after college, and I decided all I wanted to do was play music. My folks were pushing me into going to college, so I went to California State first and just took all music classes, classical guitar, and just took all the music classes I could. No intention on graduating. Then I finished out what I wanted to do there, and I transferred to University of Illinois, but their program didn't happen that year, so I went to ISU and studied their classical guitar program. Took all the music classes I wanted from that. Then I went to Berklee College of Music in Boston, and that's all music college, and so I did that, and then I ended up coming back and doing anthropology for a year, and so I was 6 years as a music major, and then did a whole anthropology degree in 1 year, combining it with music. So it was ethnic musicology, studying North African music. I was studying jazz out in Berkeley, and did classes before that. Just all over the place,
Awesome, man.
I've been at this a while, so you just ask me a question like that.
No, dude, it sounds like I got nothing but time. How much time's left on the camera? Can you talk about the constant struggle of being a solo acoustic guitarist singer?
Yeah, it's brutal. Because you can't, when you're playing in a band, if you're having a bad night, you can lean back a little bit. You got people there to kind of cover a little bit for you, and you can lean. It's just a different kind of show. But when you're by yourself, you're just totally naked. And every single moment, it's like you're juggling, while reciting the alphabet backwards or something like that at the same time. It's just there's a lot going on. It's really.
Do you feel like you're being judged solely, it's all the judgments?
Oh, for sure, too. Definitely.
Does that put a lot of pressure on you?
Oh, definitely a lot, and it also makes it a lot harder on the business side of it, because when you have multiple people in a group, you got somebody who's going to be handling the booking, somebody might be doing this part, somebody's going to drive, and I have to do all of it. So it's really distracting. I really need management help with this. It's just it's so much trying to do all that by myself right now, and trying to write this and this and this and this. So and that makes it really difficult, and also just even trying to when you're trying to push your own band, and you're like telling somebody like, oh, my band's really cool, you should check them out.
You're talking about a collective.
Yeah, it's different than being like, I'm awesome. Yeah.
I understand.
And I'm not like that anyway, so it's like, and that wouldn't even be my role if I wasn't. I'm a little too honest.
Sorry, what are you saying? Okay, you're honest. What does that mean then?
I mean, like, I'll say things that are like, maybe wouldn't be very good
promotion. Okay, fair enough. Can you tell me a little bit about your beard?
Yeah, well,
You just wanted to do that too.
Sure.
Yeah, please, no, absolutely.
1995 for Halloween, Fish was playing in Chicago.
I love when stories start out.
Oh, it's good.
So Fish was playing.
So Fish was playing. Yeah, I wasn't like really a Fish head, but all my friends in college were, and I was taking a year off school anyway, and I went to Germany for a while, did a bunch of stuff like around that. And but I knew all those kids were going to be at the Fish show, and so I shaved my head into a mohawk and put it up with Elmer's glue, and got a combat boots and like a bomber jacket, red suspenders, shreddy jeans with like snakeskin French under them. Went to the Fish show and like just freaked all my friends out really bad.
Yeah, I can see that.
And got back home and shaved the rest of it off and shaved all the way around. I haven't trimmed anything on my head since.
Really?
Except like in '98 there was a huge blizzard in Chicago and I went sledding and I got a foot of my beard got chopped off by a sled. Seriously.
Well, at least it wasn't self-inflicted.
No.
So that's respectable.
Yeah, and then I was on tour. Like I used to have my mustache, I could pull it down to here, and then I was touring with these girls in Texas. They talked me out of it. So
yeah. That's fair. Yeah.
It's a long story.
Probably a good move though. Yeah.
I'll get the rest of the story later. The camera's not on.
You're playing with the Willie Waldman Project.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about what it takes to step outside of your comfort zone into a free-form project.
Well, it's fun for me. There was electric guitar was my main thing back in the day. That's like what I did for years and years. Like I didn't even get an acoustic guitar until I was like in college. It wasn't really what I was like doing. Well, maybe I had one later in high school, but I didn't really play that. That's not really what I was doing. And it's just more that I'm practicing long scale to go for years and years and years, and but I wasn't gigging like that, and I was kind of isolated on my own, and so the acoustic thing was like something that I could do on my own, and be able to perform by myself, because I can't count on people, like, try to count on a band to survive, like, people quit, fall apart, and then, you're dependent on, some bass player gets a girlfriend, looks and they get serious, and she doesn't want him out on the road anymore, things happen, so you just can't count on all that stuff, so just like I know I can count on myself, like I'm not going to let myself down, and if I do, then it's up to me, so doing a project like this, like it's just, that's kind of, for me, it's like a kind of a return to my roots. It's like playing electric guitar, and I had like a free-form group, like there was a band I did, we would just call it Jam, like back in the day, but my mom was deaf, and so she'd go to bed, she can't hear anything, so my house was like the spot. That's interesting. And so everybody would leave their instruments over, and there's all kinds of drums, and we're beating on cookie tins, and trumpets, and saxophones, all just big piles of it, piano, everything was all piled up everywhere, with all microphones hidden around the place, and we talk for about, half hour, and just eventually somebody starts playing, and it turns into this mess. We jam for hours, totally freeform.
So this is in some ways similar to what you were doing?
Yeah, it's very similar to that, and so we did some shows like that too, where we just, go up and there's no material, we never planned anything, it was always totally freeform, and part of the nature of that is that sometimes you're going to fall on your face, and then something beautiful happens. Sometimes it takes 20 minutes of kind of like feeling everybody out, and then something blooms out and it's beautiful, Sure. So, the Willie Waldman project's like kind of like that, except the level of musicianship is much, much, much higher. Yeah. These guys are, Tony Austin's amazing, Willie Waldman's amazing, Luke's a great bass player.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him. Yeah. I see you've been playing on and off with Sex Fist in Chicago.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Sex Fist and the Chicago folk bluegrass scene that you are a part of?
Am I part of the scene?
Come on.
Have you seen it in Chicago?
Well, you're playing right. Is there? You tell me. That's what I'm asking.
To me, like a scene to me, it's starting to develop a little better than it has for years. Like to me, like a scene is like just like in theater or in like literature. Like a scene is a place. Like people talk about like a scene or whatever. It's like if there's people coming together in a specific place that hang out there all the time, and you see your friends in the same place all the time. That's a scene.
Is that happening in Chicago?
It's starting to happen more so now than I've seen. There was a place called Griffin's back in the day, which is where cornmeal kind of like came out of it. It's what kind of gave birth to those guys, and then they got shut down. So since then, it's been kind of like here, there, here, there, here, there. Kinetic Playground's starting to form a scene where there's like you see your same friends there.
How are those Tuesday nights?
Tuesday nights been doing good. It's been good, doing good. They're going on tour right now, so and I've been in and out with it. I was doing every week for a while because these are just my buddies. I was going up there checking out the show. They had me open sometimes. Sometimes there's nobody playing, and so I was just like, hey, you know, I'm gonna be here anyway. If you want, I'll play. And you have to pay me. I'm just gonna be here. And so I started doing that, and then they were like, I started feeling bad, so I started paying me. And now it's like, if they don't have an opener, then I play, and if they do, then I don't. So it's kind of like in and out, so I'm not doing it all the time. But, you know, they're good friends with those guys, and they are, like, to me, those guys are like the Midwest Bluegrass band, and they just range, and they're such good guys, and they're so much fun to
I love their music, but they are bastards. Lastly, what bands or artists have you been listening to or enjoying recently, personally?
Oh man, I'm like way behind the ball and everything. I don't really like follow.
I listen to the Grateful Dead, so I mean that's pretty bad.
Yeah, way back in the day. Totally. I just got MGMT, and that was cool. And I've been hearing about them. I played at Bonnaroo a couple years ago, and they were the band that everybody was talking about. It's like, you gotta see MGMT. We had backstage passes. I'm running around with like the sound guy from Montreal, and you know, we couldn't even get near it. They wouldn't let us near it. We couldn't get around the backstage. We were like,
so it's that big of a deal?
Yeah, the dude was like running sound, and at that stage like a few hours before, they wouldn't even let him back there.
That's rowdy.
Bruce Springsteen was back there, like with his kid and stuff. It was like the big thing. And but I couldn't even get near it, so I never really got to check them out. Everybody was talking about them, so I finally got like a couple records, and it's so cool. Yeah, I just downloaded the whole Paul McCartney like discography and put some RAM, and that's a great record. Just listened to Funkadelic. Which one was it? The one with oh man, what's the name? Let's Take It to the Stage. The early Funkadelic before they had their horn band playing like electric guitar. They're like band of gypsies and stuff.
Sure, that stuff's really awesome.
Yeah, just listening to Wilco too in the car on the way here. Because Nels Cline, the guitar player from Wilco, used to play in the Willie Wellman project.
Oh really? I didn't know.
That was the last thing he did before he was with Wilco. He was doing solo stuff and he was in Willie, and then he jumped in with Wilco. You know, he was already huge before that. So I got brought along a live disc of Wilco so that I could have, you know, I knew Willie would appreciate hearing his boy like in that. And I'm doing a compilation disc in the fall for this thing called Ilco. It's going to be all Illinois bands covering Wilco songs, and it's like a fundraiser for Illinois Wind Energy. And,
that's cool.
Still trying to pick out what song to do. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, what else do you have coming up? I mean, are you going to be doing any CDs? I mean, touring?
I can't afford to do CDs. I don't know how I'm ever recording it. Like, I don't even I don't.
What about like a live show?
Huh?
What about like a live show?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I record stuff like that. I feel like every time I push record and I know I'm recording, I screw up.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of pressure.
It's not even the pressure. It's not even that I feel it. It's just it happens. Something goes wrong, I'm gonna break a string like in the first song. It happens every time. It's like I don't push the damn button, then everything works out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've just got dumb luck like that. But I don't know. I mean, I guess I could do a live thing. But when I record, like I've got this like an idealized version of what I want the song to sound like in my head. And making a recording to me is like making a painting more than it's like doing a live. It's totally different than making music, like in an ordinary sense.
Right.
And I want it to sound like this, and I don't have the whole band that I'd like to have. If I could afford a string section and oboes, and I would do that. But I can't afford it. If I could, I totally would. But you know, it's just the limit. So the limitation of like my acoustic solo thing. It's like the joke I made with like Chicago Farmer about it. He was asking me the same thing, and I was like, "Oh, dude, nobody's gonna want to hear a whole record or something. You know, nobody wants to sit there and listen for an hour to some guy with an acoustic guitar and voice."
Well, I mean, I don't know, singer-songwriter stuff. I mean, not that you're a singer-songwiter specifically per genre, but I mean that stuff's really popular. I mean,
I know. I'm supposed to mention it.
Yeah.
But just when I hear the songs and when I write them, I've got a larger image of what I want to hear. And when I'm making the record, to me, it's frustrating to not have it be exactly what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And I get that parts on my recordings have done, you know, it's the limit that I can. And I just can't, like, last year I blew thousands of dollars trying to make recordings. And, you know, and then I gotta, right, not satisfied. And I gotta depend on other people. I gotta bring a drummer in, and, you know, they might not show up.
Right.
You know, and I've got Greg Fundison for a session. He did a spectacular job. And then, you know, and some other people come in, they just don't show up, or this guy's supposed to show up, and I'm not going to start naming names.
That's stressful.
Yeah.
No, please do.
I bet you like that.
Dude, I appreciate you taking the time to do this tonight. And,
yeah, so somebody pay for my record and manage me.
Jaik Willis. What's your website? Do you have a website? Or?
You know, I don't have an official website anymore. I was using MySpace, Reverb Nation /Jaik Willis, you know, Facebook Jaik Willis. I just don't see, like, if I'm going to spend hundreds of dollars on a website and there's no tangible income from it. I'm struggling, man. I'm struggling.
I totally understand.
I'm doing a lot of shows. I'm playing, 150, 200 shows a year. But this is a very difficult way to survive. So
well, I wish you the best of luck, and it's awesome that, like you said, you've been able to do it this long.
Yeah, I'm stoked. This is sort of like just sustenance kind of thing. It's not like what I signed up for when I was 13 or anything. But
You're not a rock and roll star.
I don't know what a rock and roll star is anymore, man. But I'm having a good time. I'm having fun. I like my job a lot. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but I enjoy it.
That's cool, man. Well, you're getting by.
I'm getting by, and that's
That's awesome, man. All right, well, like I said, pleasure, dude.